Hi, I'm Dave Feldberg, Team Latitude 64's manager and player. I'm here today to do my 2016 In the Bag. Many of you have watched my In the Bags over the years from Innova and Latitude recently, and you've seen the changes I've made, so I wanted to give you an update and see where I'm at. So first thing you see is a big change. You don't see a bag, you see a cart. And you think to yourself, man, that guy, he's been carrying bags, been sponsored by all the bag companies, where's his bag? He has a signature bag. Well, the truth of it is, and I'll tell you this to you younger players, that's the reason we need backpack bags. I carried a bag on my left shoulder for 10 years. And because of that now, my doctor says, no more carrying the bag if you want to have a long career. So I had to find a way to switch. I tried the backpack. He said it was still giving me the same effect because there's weight on that side. So I'm switching to a cart. Now, if you're using a backpack, I still say Voodoo makes a great backpack. There's nothing against that company. But I do want to say that I'm right now using the Delta cart. They've made me the Team Delta by sending me a cart in the mail. And I'm giving it my first whirl. I used it at the Memorial for half the tournament. I was very happy with it. And this is going to be my first full week with it. So I'm excited to try it. And I'm excited to show you what's in it and all about it. So I'll start off by saying that moving to a cart, I was hoping to carry more discs, because you know I used to carry a lot of discs, and I like carrying extra discs, but I hated carrying them on my shoulder. But the funny thing is, this cart they sent me, it holds about the exact same amount of discs that my bag did. And so you'll see I got some discs on the ground, and I'm going to have some discs under here, and that's because I just got here to the World Tour, and I'm going to be testing some of my older stuff that I threw last year and some of the new stuff I've been using all winter, and getting a feel for what I should be using this week. So I won't be carrying this many. I'll be carrying a full cart, but I'll show you what I'm working with this week. So at the top you see I got my handle. It's a nice cart. It's got a drink holder, and then basically I keep my putters right here. I had this additional putter pocket that my teammate Tim Mirabel gave me. Thanks, Tim Mirabel. And I keep my putters there. I'm still using, I know most of you want to see me use the dagger, and this week I'm back to using the judges. I go back and forth. So I'm using the white judge and the black judge, the original two from all the In the Bags. And I'm keeping them right here so I could have extra room. In here I keep my towels, and I usually keep my bogey bag. My bogey bag's in the car because I just got here, but I have a bogey bags I carry, and I got these towels that were made up for me, Frisbee Point. They're pretty cool. And in here I carry all my cell phone, scorecard, extra stuff like that. Okay, so let's see what we got for In the Bag. Here we go, it opens up. I got my mini here, I got my rule book, extra towel, and I'll start at, I'm gonna go the opposite direction that most people go. So you saw my two putters. I'm working with a third putter right now. It's a black, like medium judge. I think it's like medium stiffness. It feels really good. I've added it. I've actually was using it at the Memorial more than my old black judge for jump putts, so maybe this is gonna be my new jump putter. Then for other type of putters I carry, you know I'm still in love with my Cenis. I can't help it. It's my best friend, and it'll always be my best friend. I carry in 3 right now. I have my new one. It looks old, but it's brand new. That's the Dirt in Arizona. My second one, which is the gray one, which is just slightly broken in, I'm using that for straight to fade. And then I actually now have a straight Cenis. I never had one in the years past. I have one that actually goes straight. I can throw it, it doesn't hyzer out on me. And I find these to still be the go-to approach discs. Now, the next change that I've made, I used to go straight from that to a mace. And most of you will know that. I'm still carrying my couple beat up maces. You'll see them in my bag. Here's one of them. And still the first run. Really nice for flip to flat, turnover, mid-ranges, stuff like that. But what I've added this time, besides my other stable mace, I like these stable mace. This is the recycled one, by the way. This one right here flies way more overstable than the other maces, and I'm finding it to be really reliable. So I've added that. Scott Henderson gave it to me, a big supporter of Latitude. But like I said, my big switch, and I did a little bit of it last year, was this barred. You know, I found that my go-to disc nowadays that makes me the most comfortable is this barred. Now, I'm carrying 3 bards just like I would carry 3 maces. I have a beat-up bard that I had all last year, the finished version. I have a brand new finished version, and they're both BT. Now, I know these are rare in the US. I know we're working on a run for this year, so look for the BT bar when it comes out. Everybody loves it. And then I've actually even added a matted white BT bar with Cynthia's artwork, the lion, and I really love this one. This one actually is consistently overstable. It takes a beating, and it's strange. Instead of carrying 5 maces now, I'm carrying 3 maces and 3 bards. The next thing up would still be, for me, the XXX. I'm carrying at least 1 XXX. Let me look in here. Oh, there it is. There's 2 XXXs. The same 2. I think that's kind of funny. Most reliable disc on the market. I don't care who makes it. Whatever people say they have, this is a guaranteed hyzer disc that never changes. Look at the bead on this one. Look at the nicks. This is the first one I ever showed you in 2014 in the bag. And it's still my go-to disc. You can see because the name's still the same on the back. It's the same disc, and I still throw this into a headwind and it still won't get flat. So trust me, our overstable discs are practically indestructible. Now, the newest addition to the bag, and you guys saw me selling them last year, it was the Spark. And this is an informational moment for everybody who throws the Spark. So I put out the Spark, and it was very overstable, like way too overstable, nearly a XXX. And I was concerned because I was looking for more of a straight disc that had a finish of a XXX, but flew more like a striker with a XXX finish, let's say. And so we went back to the drawing board, and they molded it in the same mold, but they did some things that you can do, and they created the Recycle Spark. And I can tell you that this is the disc I achieved. This is the one I wanted to put out, and everybody I've given this to on the team and anybody who's tried it this year will tell you that this is the disc I described. It is the straight, flips up, holds the line, and it's a beautiful flyer, and this is what I was hoping for. So I'm hoping, just like I did with the other discs, we'll call the other one the Spark Pro and this one the Spark. So look for it. Realize that the Recycle ones are straight, and trust me, you'll see almost every pro on the team is carrying this disc now. Okay, still got my striker. That's my fairway driver that turns. I love it. I won't go away from me. The other thing that I have is my Saint. A gentleman that caddied for me replaced my old one that you used to see, but it's identical because he had the same exact one. He caddied for me and he felt bad, so he gave it to me. So I had the Gold Line Original Saint for really turnovers, and then half turnovers the Opto Striker. And that pretty rounds out my fairway drivers. So now, as you can see, for some reason I like to carry a lot of high-speed drivers. So let's start with rollers and get those out of the way. I have the Fury roller still, the one you saw with the Huck Lab. I always use that. And then I'm using my 2 Havocs that I always had from the first in the bags. You'll recognize them. They're Gold Line Havocs. They haven't changed. This week I'm going to try to add, since this is a big roller course here at La Mirada, I brought these 2. I have 2 Kings. I think they roll a little longer than the Havoc. They stand up a little quicker, and I'm hoping with the hills I can use some cut rolls that go down a hill and then late flip, so I can get some easier approaches, and that's what La Mirada is known for. If you could put some rollers down and actually keep them in bounds, you can make a lot of easy pars on the par 4s. If you're playing air shots, you have to make some really good air shots. So I'm hoping to break my roller back out like I used to do in the years past, and these 2 hopefully will be the good addition to the Havocs. And oh, I have one more fairway driver. I lied to you. I always carried a Trident, and I still do. I can't get it out of my bag. This time I'm carrying Cynthia's Shapes from the Worlds. It's something about it. It's a matted white Trident. I just really like it. It feels really good. And I can't get it out of my bag. I used to have a blue one, then I had a yellow one, and it just seems I always have one. And I use it like a utility disc. I like to throw it over water, into winds. I can count on it to come back, and it's short. I like that. What else do we have in here? We have a lot of discs. Let's see, we have some Enforcers. Let's go through the Enforcers. As you know, I got the Ace on ESPN with the Enforcer, and I've always loved it. And this is the one, I still carry it. It's still overstable. I would still throw it on that same shot at that same situation. And now the new addition for me is the Biofusion Enforcer. I've added that to my bag. It's the kind of the recycled version of DD. You notice I like the recycled discs in general. And I just find that it holds a little longer before it snaps left. And I think that's a real key. It's like an Enforcer for the regular arm. You know, I don't have a Garrett Girthy arm, so I need a regular Enforcer. Okay? Then I still love my Giants. I won't get rid of them. Everybody, you know, is not sure what to do with all the new releases and all the different speeds out there, but I still got 5 in here. And here's why. I've got my Sacrifice Giant, one that they're just a regular stock giant. I love it. I'll throw it off a cliff. My original giant from the In the Bag, you'll recognize it. It's the bleeding Opto, and it just won't change. I thought it was too beat up, and then I took it back out this winter, and it's just a great position. It's not quite new, but it definitely doesn't flip. So I really enjoy having that one in the bag. And then basically what I have here is 2 wind giants. I'm not even throwing these. I didn't throw them last weekend, not one shot, but I'm carrying them because if the wind picks up, I know I could throw this into a headwind. Some of these I think I could throw into a headwind as I've been working with them over the winter, but this one I'm sure of. I've done it for a couple of years and I can count on it. So there's a gray matted white, those are pretty rare, and then a matted white with the wonder nut. Now, this one right here is what saved me. Because of my injury, I've injured myself this year, and you'll probably hear about it, but I've hurt my shoulder because of some internal organ problems I'm having. We're going to get it tested at the doctor next week, and I'll report to everybody how I'm doing, but it's a deferred pain, and I can't really lift my shoulder and my neck, and you can see I'm kind of crouched down already in the video, and that's because I just don't have the power. It really hurts, and they said it's very common to defer pain into the shoulder from an inner organ problem on the right side. So it's not uncommon, but it's causing me to have less pop. So all week at the Memorial, I threw this beat up white giant that I used for turnovers last season, but it held for me because I don't throw as fast or hard as I was last season. So right now, this is my savior, and I'll tell you that's the key, is if you get injured or you're thrown in the wind, just take out a giant or a disc that's beat up and throw it lightly, and it'll fly like it's new again. You'll be surprised. I was able to throw this over a headwind into a 400-foot shot with all the pressure at the Memorial, and it was still overstable like new, because I didn't have the speed on it. It's all about how hard you throw it, remember that. I did leave out another fairway driver. The addition I had last year, you'll recognize that Felon. I can't let go of that either. It has its place. It's right between the XXX and the Spark. If there's that rare hole that's 335, and I don't want to throw the Spark real light, I don't want to rip on the XXX, well, I'll throw this Felon, and that really works good for me at about 330 feet, 350 feet. I don't have to think as much. I can get my full throw, and I know the distance control. So I like the Felon for that. We'll put that in the fairway pile. Now we got what I'm known for. Oh, actually, I lied. I got something even cooler. Add to my Enforcer collection, I found this matted white Enforcer at the factory. Man, it's got a big dome, and I actually like it. I used those only one shot for the Memorial, and I probably threw this about 15 times. So I think this is going to be my Enforcer of choice, the matted white Enforcer. It would be called the Dymax in Dynamic. And see if you can get one of these. I mean, these are really nice. It's going to be just like the Worlds and Giants I recommended, but it's in the Enforcer. I said that's all I had. I should only have one mold left, but we don't. We have 2. The Cutlass just came out. I really like it. I'm using it. I'm trying to like use the Giant or that. Sometimes I'm trying to find what the difference is. I'd almost say it's like our Giant, the Latitude Giant, but I do like it. It's got a little bit different flight than the Giant, where it turns a little bit more, but it flexes a little harder. So I feel that you're going to like this. It's somewhere between a Giant and an Enforcer. That's what I would say. And I'm really liking it. And I noticed that people like John McRae is using it as his go-to driver. So this is a good disc. Give it a try. I'll put it with the Giant so you can see where it fits. Now I have my Worlds left. Oh, no, I keep lying to you guys. Am I just the biggest liar or what? I actually got these maces in the mail, and I asked them to make me a softer mace. I said it's a little too stiff, and I think this is their first attempt at it. You see how this is a little more giving than the mace that I used to have. The mace I used to have was knock on wood hard. You know, you could knock on it. This one's got a little give, and I'm hoping to get some medium maces out there this year. So look for the medium mace, but I think this is going to be really popular. Because the mace itself was great, but it was just so stiff, and in cold weather, people had a hard time gripping it. This one's got the grip and the give. So put that, there's my third mace. Remember I said 3 maces, 3 bards. So, now do I carry all these Worlds, you ask yourself? No. These 3 I just put in today for La Mirada. It's a brand new backup white matted for overstable, a brand new original wax that I got from Tim Maribel and Devin Owens as a gift that I used to love, and then the one that Devin gave me originally back in the day, an old Gold Line type plastic. I think it's a tournament plastic, but it's a unique opaque one. So I use that. I thought I'd bring it out to see how it's flying. I've been throwing it since last season. The Worlds that I leaned on at the Memorial and the ones I leaned on in Maricopa to start the season were this white one, a brand broken in version of that white one. It's still very overstable. This one is my straight to overstable. I can throw it when there's no wind. I can get that same stable flight. And this is my turnover white matted World. It's broken in, it flips to flat, it holds long lines. I might even use it for a cut roller. So you see, I still have a lot of discs. Now I got nothing else hidden back here, so you don't have to worry about me pulling one out of my hat or anything, but I still have a lot of discs. So let's make an evaluation of what's going on. First thing I want to tell you is, the next time you see me doing an in the bag with Central Coast Disc Golf, you will see me doing an in the bag for you. So look for it around the Masters Cup time. I'm going to do it in the bag for the regular player. And I'm going to put together a bag of discs that I think that would be good for different levels, and I'm going to explain why that is, and put together 2 or 3 bags and show you guys what I think you should be purchasing from the store, because you might not be able to find as many of these, and it's hard to tell which is which with all these custom stamps. So I'll make you an in the bag later on with Central Coast around May. But let's evaluate what I have real quick and talk about it before we leave. So you know I got the cart, that's the switch, and the other thing I want to talk about is what I have. To give you guys a summary, there's a lot to look at on the ground like I usually do. I just make a big pile. But let me tell you again, I have 6 mid-ranges here. Now I have my 3 maces, that's the 2 in the 0 and the 1 in the recycled. You see the profile, it's a nice mid-range with a bead. Those are my 3 mid-ranges for straight. This is the mace with that nice beveled edge with the bead. And then I've got the 3 bards. I use those more like to replace those in a wind. So on a calm day, I'm using those 3 maces for my approach disc, and on a windy day, I'm using these 3 bards. And I can count on these bards because you see it's a little flatter, a little thinner, holds the wind a little better. I carry the BT and the Deco die. Okay, I also approach with my 3 Cenuses. They're all 0 medium. The profile of this is the most unique on the market. As you see, it's really flat, it tucks under, it just deflects the wind. Doesn't matter what the wind is, it goes right through it. I literally can throw it into a 40-mile-an-hour headwind and it won't flip up. It's one of the most amazing things. Okay, now you see I go back over these worlds, you saw those. They're almost all in the Dymax or Deco die type plastic. I carry 1 VIP, and that's because it's the waxy type white one, very similar to the matted white. Look at the profile of this world, you'll see it's really flat, it's really fast, and it looks pretty sweet. So if you can get your hands on one of these, they're floating around, try to get one, okay? Now, over here is in the giant overstable category. We got the giants. They're almost all tournament plastic or matted white like you're used to. I throw the Cutlass in that section because that's where I find it fits. And that's an Opto Cutlass. You can see the difference, the Cutlass and the Giant. It's very similar, very close profile, and I'm just not sure which one I like best. I love the Giant for its history, and it's always treated me good. So I'm trying to fit this in, but the Giant might win. Okay? So we get all those put away. Let's see what else we got here. We have the fairway drivers. We got our 2 Sparks. Those recycled Sparks, I told you the change. You look at those, they're not as flat as the old Spark. It's got a better flight look to it. We'll put those away. We got our XXX and Trident section and Felon. I think those all fit together. So we got our 2 XXXs, the Gold Line. We got the Trident and the Felon. Now if you look at all 3 of those side by side, they're very similar discs, similar edge. You look at the XXX has got a sharper drop, then it goes in order, the Trident's next, and then the Felon. And that's where I'd put them. You know, I would choose the Felon for a little straighter hyzer. This one is for a all hyzer, and this is for you need to go left. Okay, so I'd recommend those for that type of shot. Let me slide these under here. Then we have our 2 fairway drivers left. The Striker, I told you, the Opto Striker is a change. They changed the mold a couple years ago when we took back over our molds, and boy, it flies good. And then the Saint, this is the original Gold Line Saint. If you look at it, it's a little flat up top, it's got a dome on the edge, it's really understable, and it's the kind of disc you really need when you're playing in the woods, I'll tell you that much. What's left on the ground? Let's see, let me get up and get them. We have the 3 Enforcers, look at the profile. Now look at this white one and this one, it's very similar, that's why I liked it so much. That one I made the ace with and this white mat, it even has a dimple rise in the middle, which I like. Where if you look at this one, it doesn't. You have the dimple, but it's much flatter. You see that? That's why it goes straighter. That's why I like it for the straighter type shot. But you want something to hold, get one of these Domi Enforcers. And then finally, the 4 rollers. I won't carry all 4, but here's my 2 Havocs. Look how beat up they are. Been carrying them since I played for Latitude. They really are great rollers. And then my 2 Kings. And look at the difference of the Kings I'm using. They're the Domi Kings. If you look at them, they got a lot of dome to them. That's because I want it to roll. If you want a king that doesn't go to the right, you want a flat king. So I want the kings that go to the right, and that's the Domi style king. It doesn't matter what plastic it is. And hopefully these will work out for me. So that's me, Dave Feldberg, 2016 in the bag, March. And that's spring. It probably changes throughout the year. So when I come back in May to do the in the bag for you, I'll give you an update on what's been changed in my bag and how the cart's treating me. And until then, support Latitude products and all the people that sponsor me. I'm sponsored by Frisbee Point out of Sweden and Finland. They do a lot of retail. They're in Finland and they do a lot of retail in Finland and Sweden. I'm sponsored by Latitude 64 Golf Discs. I'm an ambassador for companies like Keen and Voodoo, and I'm sponsored by On It Sports. I'm also sponsored by, I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out, but all the people that sponsor me, thank you so much. Thanks for taking care of me. Team Delta, doesn't matter who you are. Thanks for taking care of the disc golfers, and I'll see you in the fairway.